Do you mind talking about Jillian's story a little bit? I think that was something powerful that I read on your website and really speaks to the different stories of recovery that you have at Dove Recovery House.
Yeah, so Jillian is one of our success stories. She came to Dove House. She had been through multiple programs before, none of them sticking. Jillian began using at a very young age, was introduced to it by a boyfriend, and had experienced childhood traumas. So she quickly fell into addiction. Her mom actually had heard of Dove House and wanted her to get into our program, and finally Jillian was ready and came to us. And Jillian was a tough one. She struggled. She had a son that her parents were raising. He was a little guy. And, you know, Jillian went hard and she went fast. And she had a couple of relapses. And we don't discharge from our program for relapses. We really thought if she left and she relapsed, we thought we would lose her because it happened at least 2 other occasions. I think Jillian had a total relapse of 4 times while in our program. She just could not get the hang of it. She was trying to run her own program. And so finally I said to my staff, we've got to do something different. What we're doing is not working. And we sat her down and said, from now on, you have to trust us and you have to give up your power and control because the decisions you're making are not working. And so we sat her still. She had extremely limited outside activities for about 6 months. We just kind of shut it all down because what we had been doing it wasn't working for her. So she sat still for about 6 months and really just gave her life over to us and let us really just find out what made sense for her. I think that's what is so great about our program is that we're not a one-size-fits-all. Every client that comes in is unique. Jillian completed, I think it was around 2 years in our program, successfully discharged into our Steps to Success program. That program was funded by a grantee or a grantor. We do not currently have funding for that program. We're hoping we can get that reinstated because it was such a tremendous program. But what it was is she entered into that program. She found an apartment in her name. And we provided 8 months of rental subsidy. So for the first 4 months, she received 50% of her rent from us, and then the next 4 months, 25%. And then that entailed or required her to meet with our peer recovery specialist. We did random urine screens, and she had to come back for a relapse prevention group twice a week. So we had an additional 8 months with her having that level of accountability. And she is thriving today. She is helping raise her son. She is sober. She's living independently. She is housed. She's just remarkable to think that we weren't sure she was going to make it. We really thought we might bury her. And to see how she just has completely blossomed and become the woman that she's meant to be, and now mentoring the other women that come through our program. We always want our alumni to come back to show that this program can work if you want it to.
That's great. You know, what an inspirational story. It shows, I think you might have said, about 25 different things that set you at Dove Recovery House apart from other facilities. But, I'll just recap them a little bit. You work with women only, right? That's correct. Your only clientele. Is there an age range?
Just have to be at least 18.
Okay. Yeah, I saw there are some requirements for admission on your website. I really did like that. So our ideal client is 18 and over, women-only facility. I think something else that, if I could recap, and I want the listeners to really know, is that a longer length of stay for any client at any facility is going to dramatically increase the likelihood of success and recovery and sobriety.
Absolutely. I think it's like 40%. You're 40% more likely, might even be 60% more likely to remain sober if you are in a program for around 6 months. And so
we have to do that longer stay.
Absolutely. And so we really encourage our clients. We may say 90-day commitment, but if they're coming to us at 90 days ready to leave, it's probably not going to be a successful discharge. So, and actually our average length of stay is 6 months.
That says it for me. Enough said right there. With a longer length of stay, you're going to have a better outcome for that client. And let's talk a little bit of family involvement. You had mentioned the entire family, a dynamic of dealing with Jillian's story, with the mom, dealing with the kid and living situation. I mean, how are you tying into this family involvement since it is such a crucial step in recovery?
So we actually don't communicate with family unless we have permission because of client confidentiality, but Jillian's mom especially was very involved, checking in. Jillian had given us permission. We were a team. And, you know, Jillian's mom trusted us to make some hard decisions. And, you know, when Jillian relapsed, we were always in communication with one another, and her mom was supportive and understanding. And Jillian's son, when Jillian was healthy, we reintegrated him back into the program. She had visitation. She could have overnights with him here. When she was a higher level, she could have overnights with her mom and dad. So whenever possible, it's all about team support. Now, I will say that's a lot of our clients that come into our program don't have active family members in their lives. Some do, and we cherish that. But for many of our women, we become their family. We always say is we work in their home. For many of our clients, this is the first safe place they've ever had, or the first place they've ever been able to go to without any expectation other than them to focus on themselves and to get healthy. They have nothing else that they have to give back to us. So that's incredible. But you know, in terms of family and kiddos, we want moms to reunify with their children if that's what they want. They can have sleepovers. They come visit. Our reunification rate is about 65%.